Hello, this is Joe from Nerd in Korea. We're talking about budget board wipes, and I'm realizing that my shirt is very close to my skin tone, which I should avoid. It is a shirt though. I'm not doing some weird like shirtless stream or something. Yeah. Anywho. First of all, what do I mean by budget? I mean $2 or less, and that's going by the TCG market value. Okay, the market value you could find something lower, occasionally more expensive, but often lower. Okay, so TCG market value, not a sponsor. Yeah. Okay, the main thing to know about board wipes is that we need them in decks to kind of like when your opponents are getting ahead, you can set it back to 0. The idea is that you probably blow up your own stuff as well, but the net damage it does, while it damages you a little bit, it slows them down a lot. Like they're going to get carried away with the game if you don't bring it back down to 0, and that's what these do, right? So these are often more about doing more damage to everyone else than to you. It's not just that, like, it's not all one-sided board wipe where it doesn't affect you negatively and it affects everyone else. When we are evaluating board wipes, excuse me, what are we looking for? So there are two things that most board wipes have in common. First of all, 4 CMC or converted mana costs. So they cost 4 mana and you cast them at sorcery speed. If something is not falling into one of those or into those categories, you should ask yourself why and is it worth it? Especially the converted mana cost. Is it worth it? If you're paying extra, what do you get? You know? Alright. Okay, first up, Day of Judgment. Alright, this is our kind of baseline card. It costs 4, it's a sorcery, it casts at sorcery speed, right? That means during your turn, during one of your main phases, right? Before or after combat, basically. So yeah, this 152, there are a lot of cards like this. Some of them are very expensive. I don't know why. Really? Functionally, I don't understand why some cards are way more expensive, but anyway. Destroy all creatures. 4 mana. Nice and simple. Tag while scouring. Okay, here we're getting into one where it's it does cost 6. So again, we're going above that kind of like 4 ideal threshold, but you get a lot for 6. So let's look at that. Okay, possible to cast as though it has flash. What you do is you tap 3 of your creatures, especially if they're creatures you're about to blow up, it doesn't matter, right? If they're gonna die, whether they're tapped or not, who cares? Tapped, untapped, the same if you're dead, right? So anyway, you just... Okay, so you tap 3 creatures with flying during someone else's turn, and you can use this at instant speed, right? You can blow up the whole board, and then it creates 3 1/1 pirate fairy rogues with flying. Okay, so you get 3 tokens that have flying, which are great for blocking, but also you can cast it during someone else's turn, and then you get those 3 things. So at the start of your turn, you can start with 3 creatures that are ready to go. Basically, they're not summoning sick. They can attack. They're 1/1, so unless you have some kind of equipment or trick to use with them, you probably don't want to, but you'd want to pair it with that. Basically, yeah. You would want to put it together with something like that. Anyway, this is 19 cents. Just the fact that it's a board wipe, you can cast it with flash. You can give it flash is already a huge bonus. Blood on the Snow. Alright. So you may destroy all creatures or planeswalkers. Again, this does cost 6, but first of all, it gives you the option Second, yeah, you can return one creature or planeswalker from your graveyard. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be put into the graveyard that turn, right? Anytime, if it's in your graveyard, you could take it back out, as long as its CMC is equal to or less than the amount of snow mana you put in this. So again, if you put 6 snow mana into this, you can take a 6 CMC creature or planeswalker out of your graveyard and put it straight onto the battlefield. Which means that this is essentially free, right? If you've got snow mana, then you're kind of like casting this for free in a way. Not really, but anyway. So yeah, you are getting something out of your graveyard, at least, yeah. That makes up for the value by a long shot. Anyway, 29 cents for that one. Next up is Blood Money. This is destroy all creatures. For each non-token creature destroyed this way, create a tapped treasure token. This is the highest CMC. This has 7, right? It's 7 to cast, but it creates treasure tokens. They're tapped, so you can't use them right away, but the next turn, you're just going to make up so much value. Again, what you're looking for from a board wipe is to set everything back to 0 and hopefully get some advantage. Creating all the treasure tokens, that's your advantage. And remember, if you're playing Commander or a multiplayer format, 4 players, if each has 2 creature cards, and when you use this, you're creating 8 treasure tokens already. Basically, it's free, or it's even creating 1 extra mana if everyone only has 2. Most games, if you're looking to play board wipe, there's probably a lot more than 2 per player. Oh. So, just insane value there. 53 cents. Definitely worth 53 cents though. Finally, our number 1 is Stick Together. Okay, if we're looking for a one-sided board wipe, meaning it damages everyone else and mostly leaves you alone, I think this is one of the best examples. Each player chooses a party from among creatures they control and then sacrifice the rest. Okay, so this does cost 5, a little bit higher, but especially if you have party, meaning a cleric, a rogue, a warrior, and a wizard, you can keep all of them alive and kill everything else, right? It'd be very unlikely, I think, that an opponent has all 4 of those even. If they even have 1, you know. If they're playing like a dragon deck or something, they might have 0. A lot of times your opponents are going to have 0 of those. So you're keeping your stuff alive and killing everyone else's stuff. Also, they have to sacrifice it, right? Once again, doesn't care about indestructible because it's sacrifice. Sacrifice kind of gets by indestructible, which is kind of a pain in the butt for a lot of other board wipes. So this is, I think, just a very, very great card to have. Even if you're just looking for something where it's like, you've got like rogues or warriors. Even if you have 1 of the 4, I might consider keeping it because it is going to keep your one thing alive and kill everyone else's stuff. So you still get the value out of it. Anywho, 16 cents for that. Only 16 cents. Okay, so now on to the list. Number 5, Day of Judgment. Again, our kind of like standard board wipe card is 152. Tigwell Scouring, 19 cents. Blood on the Snow, 29 cents. It's good to have all the time, but only really good when you have the snow mana. So if you do play this, make sure you have like snow mana. Blood Money, 53 cents. I think this is just hugely undervalued. I would put this in almost any black deck. I actually got to order one of these for my black deck anyway. And stick together. I actually just ordered a couple of these the other day. And yeah. Oh, yesterday. Right, yesterday. 16 cents. Keeping your stuff alive while blowing up everyone else's stuff. Just always great. Always great. It fits into so many things as well. You really don't need a whole party to make it worthwhile. It's ideal then. Not necessary, I think. Anyway, thank you and have a nice day. Take it easy, right? No.